views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Hello, welcome to Let's Talk Sports with Rick and Jack. Jack, how are you?
Wonderful, sir.
Everything good?
Yeah.
I'm Rick. He's Jack, of course. It's been a crazy week in sports as COVID is gripping the country, and John's got his cell phone on that we got to listen to today, so that's okay. John is forgot to turn his cell phone off, our producer, but I hope you didn't hear that, everybody. Anyways, what a week in sports. I mean, COVID is gripping college football. Basketball is playing tournaments, but in a bubble. College basketball, NBA is getting ready to start, and they're talking about how are we going to pull this off, traveling to 4 or 5 games a week. You know, basketball, they play a lot of games every week. You're going to go from this state to that state, to this city to that city. And it was very interesting that, you know, I saw Damian Lillard talking like, hey, guys, we got to be responsible.
And not be selfish.
And not be selfish, like the NFL. Oh, do you realize, and COVID comes up constantly in this world right now, but
because it affects every game.
It affects every game in our bets, and like the Steelers.
Pouncey is out right now. Like, so what's this game that's supposed to happen today? How's that going to affect?
Yeah.
But before
the center.
But before we even go in there, what stood out for you last week?
What stood out for me was the young man at Buffalo, the University of Buffalo, scoring 8 touchdowns and gaining 409 yards. 8 touchdowns. You got to be tired at some point. I know the football's not heavy. I know the football's not heavy, but my God, what's his name? Patterson?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
That was incredible. And there was somebody, the kid Pegram, from Pegram, however you say it, from Oklahoma, had like 416 yard total. And it's like he's gained more than this guy. And I was like, and I remember when that happened at Oklahoma, and he had that game. But that stood out for me that a young man is going to make 8 touchdowns.
But on the defense,
8 touchdowns.
On the defensive side, how do you feel?
Man.
How deflated are you after the 6, and then he gets another one?
Yeah.
And another one.
And another one. That's akin to, I can remember, when I was playing high school football, and we were playing against a prolific, awesome team, and they beat my high school, small Catholic school, 80-9. And I got Defensive Player of the Week. Hey, because they had to award it Defensive Player of the Week, Offensive Special Teams. And Defensive Player of the Week in an 80-9 loss is Rick Manarino. I'm right. So that's what that's akin to when you're playing defense against a guy. Hey, I was Defensive Player of the Week against Buffalo. The guy made 8 touchdowns and 409 yards.
Because you had 3 tackles, right?
I think I might have had a sack. I think I accidentally fell on him or something. Somebody tripped over somebody and I sacked the quarterback. I think that's what I got. And then he fumbled, and then I got the fumble too. So, hey, Defensive Player of the Week. Anyways,
what stood out for me this week was actually Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson went in the ring. He got he fought this other YouTuber, Jake Paul. Ended up getting knocked out. But what was incredible is how much, like, you know, his lack of humanity. Everybody's making fun of him because he got knocked out.
Yeah.
But all these people that are sharing all these memes and all this stuff, you would not go in that ring. You know how much heart it takes to go in that ring and to face somebody going blow for blow. And with boxing, sometimes you're just one hit away from getting knocked out. But kudos to him to have the huevos to actually go into the ring.
Absolutely.
Me right now, I'm too old for that. I wouldn't be doing that. And then, you know,
not me.
But it's just crazy to see, like, all the fun that was made of him. Yeah. And from people that would not do that.
Yeah, would never do it. And you know, everybody's got an opinion on everything.
Yes.
Now, the people that had bad opinions about him were ridiculous, ignorant people. So, speaking about boxing, I didn't know anything about this Tyson and Roy Jones fight. What happened? And they called it a draw, and I'm like, people paid. I hope none of you
It
paid
was
to watch
50.
it.
It was $49.99.
$49.99. Did you watch it?
Yes, unfortunately.
You bought it?
My brother.
Him and
did.
12 other people. So what was it like? Tell me a little bit about this. I know our audience is interested to see what happened between, Big Mike and Roy Jones. I mean, they were both great fighters.
I scored at 7-2. 7 rounds for Mike, or actually six rounds for Mike, and now 2 for Jones. They weren't at their peak, but
Were they in shape?
yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
They're older guys.
What's their age? 55, isn't it?
Yeah, like 55 and 53, somewhere around there.
I had no interest.
But
Did they take bets on the fight?
You couldn't, and that was my. There were no
That's
refs.
what made you upset? There were no refs?
Oh, the ref. There was a ref, but there were no judges.
Oh, no judges.
Yeah, so
So the ref is the one who made the final decision?
I know he's draw. They're both champs for going in
So
the ring.
when's the return bout?
Please don't.
Don't buy it again.
No, but I have to
Your
say,
brother-in-law must have excess money.
You got a little discretionary coins.
Yeah. Anyways, all that aside, and those were great things that we talked about. What went on? It's always fun to talk about things that are out, that stand out in our minds, and that's always the fun part of the way to start the show. Let's talk a little bit about college football. I mean, I'm just too many games canceled.
Yes, it's a little bit frustrating for me because I want to, where you want to paint a picture of the landscape, and okay, you're all of a sudden now you don't have the colors that you need. It's hard to create the final picture that you need, and this is what's happening in college football right now. Teams are not playing that should be playing, and games are being canceled that should count towards something. So how do you still continuously get ranked and you're not playing?
Yeah, it's tough, and I think it wears on these kids' minds more than it does a pro football player. A pro football player is more trained to play in an empty stadium, and they're getting paid. These kids, like, Oregon should never lose to Oregon State. I just think they're not ready. Northwestern should never lose that football game. These guys are both have an opportunity to be in the top 5 or 6 teams, and they go out and play terrible games last weekend, and I can't help, a lot of it has to do with the psyche of these kids.
But so far, as since we've been doing the show, we've always talked about the mental aspect of every of when it comes to, especially the tournament side of it, is what team is more mentally mature to be able to handle this. And this is what it comes down to right now, where college football in itself is a tournament, because you're not playing you're only playing so many games right now. So who's going to have the mental capacity to actually win, go through and do what they need to do, and not be selfish and do things that you're not supposed to do, so you can put your team in a better position on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and that's going to spill over into the NBA when it starts in 3 weeks. Who's going to be faithful to going to the game, after the game going straight back to the hotel, not running around, not going to the bar, because it's tough. You got a lot of people bothering you, and it's easy to be weak, but these days you got to be so dedicated to the game, to your fellow players. It's interesting. You look at NFL, where it's more and more rampant. Games are being rescheduled. They're trying not to cancel games. We're playing games on Wednesdays, Tuesdays, 2 games on Monday Night Football. God knows what's going to happen in the next week.
There's a Tuesday night game next week, too.
Who's the only team in the NFL that not one player has tested positive? Who's the team? Only one team in the whole NFL has had not one positive test. In the whole NFL, 32 teams. Who is it? Trivia. Who is it? Do you know? Do you know?
I don't know.
Do you know?
Is it the Jets?
The Jets. They couldn't catch a cold.
That's what I'm
Jets.
figuring. They couldn't.
0-11. They hope they get it and the season's canceled. Are you kidding me? God, hey, whoa. The Jets. Woo! They're definitely 0-16. You're a fan of the Jets, right?
A little bit.
A little bit, okay. We'll go back to our first show.
Just a little bit.
Him, you wore the Jets hat, the Jet jersey. Mark Sanchez, Maron, my God. Anyways, the Seattle Seahawks. The only team that has not had one positive test.
So they've been washing their hands, huh?
They've been doing whatever it takes. I mean, that's amazing. And their coach is 69 years old and got more damn energy than anybody. Pete Carroll is. You see him running up and down those sidelines, jumping up and down, hugging those guys. I love Pete Carroll, man.
How can you not be motivated to go out and play for that coach?
And he signed a new contract. He's going to coach with them till like 74 years old. I mean, it's awesome. Pete Carroll is.
And is it like
Pete Carroll's a dude, man.
What else does he have
Pete Carroll,
to
you're
prove?
awesome.
What else does he have to prove? He's won in college. He's won in the NFL. Like, what else is he doing?
He can go in the broadcasting booth, and he continues to coach. So back to the college game, and again, COVID is really on everybody's head right now with sports. What do you see as your top 6 teams in college right now? Who do you think is there going to be some movement? Is it going to stay the same at the top? All these playoff games that they have to play each other is going to make the difference. Who's your top 6?
See, here, so I actually like, it's going to come down to Notre Dame and Clemson as far as my.
They have to play each other.
My Alabama won, but for them to be 1 and 2. So whoever is the winner there gets the second position. I'm still not, I like how Ohio State's playing, but Ohio State has not been playing for me. So I don't know on a week to week, injuries create a whole ripple effect on what you can do during the season. Them having been playing, there are no injuries, or players get better, they're not playing. I still love Texas A&M.
Playing good football.
And then maybe Florida.
Yeah, I agree with you. Florida, the problem with them is Texas A&M beat them. So that's Florida's one loss.
Yes.
So what's going to happen is Florida's going to play Alabama, for the SEC championship. And again, whoever wins that game is going to be a top 4. And the loser might still be, if it's Alabama, not Florida. If Florida loses.
But depends on how
Florida's
they
a good
lose.
football team, man.
If it's a nail biter, then you know what? Maybe are you going to knock out say Ohio State because Florida beat Alabama close, or do they get knocked to the number 4 spot, or how does Florida not get respect now?
Yeah.
For beating Alabama. So
Florida looks good. Texas A&M looks good.
And this is kind of the reason why I like, we always talk about how we like sports and stuff. It's like, it's not scripted. You may think you know what's going to happen, but then something, by this weekend, something can happen.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's something that tells me that Notre Dame is going to be Clemson again. Notre Dame is just that team
but I don't
this year.
think so.
And I know you love Clemson, and it's going to be fun to get these games. These league championship games are going to be fun. Like, Ohio State could lose. Who's Ohio State going to play in the championship? Is it Indiana? Who are they playing in the league championship? I mean, Michigan State, all these teams are horrible. Illinois has been pretty good. Indiana's been pretty good. Penn State, I mean, what kind of year are they having? Michigan, both Harbaugh brothers might get fired at the end of this year. You realize it? The big boy in Baltimore, he's going to lose 2-3 in a row now.
No.
His brother, hell yeah. But John, Jesus.
I think
Jim, Jesus.
Well,
these guys,
maybe
they're
he'll
both losing.
Maybe he'll stay there in Michigan and go up to Detroit.
Yeah, well, that could be. Maybe he'll go work.
There's an opening.
Maybe he'll
there.
go work for John over in Baltimore.
No, but there's an opening right there. He doesn't have to move.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, that Detroit team is, wow. Those Thanksgiving games were.
They have a new coach.
Yeah.
Or the new opener, I should say.
Yeah. Well, you know who's doing a great job that took over in Houston is Cornell. Cornell is doing. He's 72 years old.
He's not doing bad.
They're done good. They're doing good. I mean, I like the way they looked the other day. They're playing a little bit of defense. You see JJ's interception for a touchdown.
That was good. That was very good.
To see JJ Watt, come alive.
It's like the old JJ. That's his 6th for his career.
Yeah, what a player. What a career. It was fun. It was fun. There was actually 2 fun games. I like Dallas getting beat up. I know there's a lot of Dallas fans out there and around town and in Vegas, but anyways, college football, I like Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Florida, Texas A&M, Ohio State.
In that order?
No, those are the 6 teams I like, but it's people have a chance. I mean, Florida has a chance.
Yes.
All you got to do is beat Alabama. All you got to do is beat Alabama. Yeah. Clemson has a chance. All you got to do is beat Notre Dame. Ohio State could lose in the
All they have to do is
championship game.
continue to win.
Ohio State's got to play a couple more football games yet, but hopefully they're going to play this weekend and hopefully next week. And, you know, we're getting close to the championship series. Those games are coming up, the league championships. I love that. When they play, man, that's great stuff. That's great stuff. To watch an Alabama-Florida game or Clemson-Notre Dame, the first game was good. I haven't seen a lot of great college football. Anyways, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk a little bit of college basketball, and then from there talk about a couple other sports things that are going on, and we'll look forward to coming back in a minute after we have a commercial break. Thank you very much.
Bob Allen Golf has a full tour shop for all of your repairs, including re-gripping, reshafting, loft and lie adjustments, whatever you need. Bob has the only full swing simulator in Las Vegas. Get your next set of golf clubs custom fit right here at Bob Allen Golf, located at 6415 South Fort Apache, Las Vegas, 89148. With Bob Allen Golf, your game is in the bag.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us through the commercial break. Going to talk a little bit of college basketball right now. They're playing mostly in bubbles because a lot of tournaments out there, the Maui Classic and all these various classics. And what do you think about college basketball so far? Is the pandemic with no stadium and all that and no scoreboards like they got in the NBA? It's like, God, it's boring, isn't it? Watching a college game.
No, and the
God,
problem
I'm
is,
watching it, but I'm having a hard time.
all day long I have games. I don't know what to watch.
All day long.
All day long.
What is that, about 20 a day? I mean,
all day long. So it's hard to even keep track of, and it's like, oh my God, did they play already? Oh, Duke's playing? You tell me Michigan State? Oh, Michigan State beat Duke? What?
yeah. It's like so many games.
Yeah, so many games. It's hard to keep up. It's like, it's almost like I need them. Can I get a month? Just to see the landscape and see some consistency. Kentucky already have a loss on the season, you know, and
Duke's got a loss to Michigan State.
Yeah.
And I watched that game last night. Kentucky, Kansas came back. Kansas looks good. Gonzaga looks good. You know, Villanova always looks good. Michigan State looks good. But, you know, the teams like Kentucky and Duke, they have so many freshmen because they turn over the crop every year. And 4 or 5 guys after the freshman year leave. Kentucky's got a bunch of great freshmen. Duke's got a bunch of great freshmen. I'll tell you who looks good is North Carolina. They had a good recruiting class, and of course a great coach, Roy Williams, but you know, it's so early. It's like, I don't even care you lose a couple games. Last night I turned on the TV, ESPN, you got a game, ESPN 1, ESPN 2, ESPN News, SEC Network, Fox, there's a game on every channel. And you know, I've been able, for some reason, to find Vegas the last couple of nights with their new coach, and just like football, new coach, but no wins. Vegas basketball 0-3, and they don't look very good. They got to, you know, hopefully this new guy will do it, but these coaches don't have success here. It's like the football program.
The hardest part when it comes to Vegas or UNLV, you'll have a good coach, but you don't have a good recruiter. And you know, in order for you to get, you'll have a good coach, but he's not a good recruiter. You need a combo of both, because we'll get the talent, but then the coach, the recruiter recruits the talent, and then the coach can't put that into fruition on the floor, on the court. So that's Vegas' biggest problem. It's always been, and it's the same thing with when it comes to football. We'll see little spurts of talent when it comes on the field, but for the most part, they need a good coach and recruiter combo.
Well, Vegas is never going to go back to the Tarkanian era.
Unfortunately,
we'll never see it again, because these kids, they're one and done to begin with, and if you're any good, you're going to go where you're going to be seen a lot, where there's a lot of games on TV. You're going to watch the Dukes. You're going to watch the North Carolinas. You're going to watch the Villanovas. That's where the kids go. No, you know, it's no joke. They go to these top colleges. I mean,
but with the
what's the
internet
Pac-12 really getting? You know, when you think about it.
But with the internet, like, all these games should be easily be able to be broadcast. I know the problem is when you broadcast a game, you want to see if you can get some monetary funds behind it. So then, because that's the way the school,
all about the money.
The school. So then, you know, why can't the Mountain West create create a channel so that you can actually have easier access to their games.
Yeah, I don't know how many of them I'd want to watch. I only like to watch the big dogs play.
I like what
Because,
you know. What?
like I'm watching Kansas last night against Kansas. Who were they playing? Anyways, who was it? Oh, Kentucky. Kansas and Kentucky. As I said, I watched so many games. Kansas took that game over in the second half.
But they were down.
They were down. They were down, by double digits in the first half.
But that shows.
It's fun to watch the talent in those kids, man. There's some talented kids.
But I like to watch them now and then to see them later on in the NBA and see how they're flourishing. And you're like, man, I remember when that kid was so scrawny, and all of a sudden now, every couple of summers you see, the 10, 15 pounds in addition, and now they're more dominant, and then all of a sudden, right now it's like maybe 2 years. You got a good player. If you're good in college, maybe 2 years. If you go, it's hard when you see them draft.
Really good. You're gone in 1 year.
Like Pritchard. Pritchard got drafted by he's an Oregon guy, Oregon point guard.
Yeah, I
and
know.
He got
he
drafted.
was good at Oregon.
He went to Celtics.
Yeah.
It's strange to see
He was good at Oregon.
to see a 4-year guard actually spend 4 years.
Yeah, they don't.
But I think he'll be a smart. Basketball player, and eventually I think he'll go into coaching.
Yeah, he's a talented kid, and I remember because I watched the Pac-12 championships.
I was there at T-Mobile when
they. Oh, you were?
Yeah.
And it was good watching them, but college basketball.
Spilled a little popcorn while I was there too.
Yeah, popcorn, a few beers.
Sorry.
The whole thing. We do that too. Anyways, watch college basketball. There's a lot of it. It'll reveal who's any good and who's going to be in that top 10 over there, and it's fun. College football's heating up. What else we got? And much else to talk about in sports that we really want to get into?
Nothing really right now. It's just we just have to wait and see. Like get the landscape. There's so much going on right now. We like even with the rankings and stuff. What's there to rank right now?
Yeah,
we're good on paper. Let's give it a month.
Well, Gonzaga started as the #1 team. They look pretty tough. We'll see what happens. But college football, college basketball in full bloom. Too much of it. Then we got the pros. And anyways, anything else that you saw that stood out to you? Any UFC fights or boxing matches? I know there's a couple of fights and UFC fights coming up this week, but nothing to write home about that's exciting. A couple of UFC fights got canceled because of COVID, and it's
which was surprising because Dana has been doing so well with that, keeping his sport going along and not being affected. Like you'll see as soon as he he's got people in back up ready to go. But for some reason, a couple of the main cards have been canceled.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of big fights, and I like to watch UFC when it's some really, really epic fights. And I see Conor McGregor is going to fight again. He came out of retirement.
Yeah, they said he hasn't signed his contract, but Dana said usually he's never really signed his contract on the spot, but he's going to come out. He's going to come back and fight it, and that's supposed to happen. I want to say in January, February time frame.
Yeah, it's coming up. The most prolific thing I saw this week was I was watching Formula One racing, and I don't even know who the driver was, but the race starts and they come out and they're moving, and all of a sudden the car veers right and it slams right into the wall. This car bursts into flames. I'm like, oh, this guy is dead. The car disintegrates, bursts into flames. And I see the guy jumping over the fence, getting out of the car and jumping over the fence and getting out of there. And I'm like, oh my God. And everybody's like, that is the crazy. All the drivers are like, oh, did you see it, John? It was amazing, right? You thought the guy was dead, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. And I mean, they had to re-weld the fence and everything to fight. They were like that car race was maybe like an hour delayed or more because they had to re-weld the fencing and everything. I mean, that car exploded. You see this guy hopping over the fence, and all the drivers were like, oh my God, is he dead? There were a few fans there. Is he dead? Is he dead? I'm like, how do they do that, man? How do you drive cars at those speeds? And when it crashes, man, wow. It's same thing with NASCAR. But that Formula One, those cars are not nearly as well made.
I just I I just watched Ford versus Ferrari.
Great
and
movie.
And it made me like you watch
Great movie.
you'll see the sport and you have no idea what it takes for those drivers. Like you need a driver not to just drive. I'd go in a car right now. I'd drive the car. Those drivers, they are listening. They are feeling, and it opened up what they're actually thinking. So when those drivers go out there, the competition is crazy and the skill even better.
Yeah, it's amazing. I could never do it. And like that main part of the movie where they were in Le Mans, 24 hours of Le Mans, and those guys are, getting a little sleep, getting back in the car, and it's like, man, the intensity and and I didn't realize Ford and Ferrari had such a competition against each other and the way they competed back in the day. And it was a fascinating movie. But anyways, it's been another fun sports week, and we got a lot of things coming up. NFL, college basketball, football. Keep watching, enjoying it. Watch out for the COVID warnings and how you make your bets. You saw how that game between Denver and New Orleans changed. It went from a game that was New Orleans was a 6-point favorite to whatever, 31 points or whatever. So, keep your eye on what's going on, what's not going on. Make your bets shrewdly. Enjoy and continue to enjoy college sports, pro sports, and anything else you want to finish with?
Watch our football show because I'll let you know how I went 13-2.
Oh, please watch the pro football show. It's going to be very impressive because there was a lot of wins last week. If you're not betting on pro football with us, there's something wrong with you. But anyways, like this show, we always enjoy talking about other sports, and we give football their own show because that's what they deserve. It's such a great game in the NFL. But please like us, continue to watch. Always join us at WWDBTV, subscribe, share it, tell your friends about us, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless. See you soon.